why companies don't value loyalty, why that is, and the 3 simple checks you can use to prove and prevent this. I'll show you right here. Sorry, this might sound harsh at first, but that's exactly what so many employees from different companies keep telling me. Just last week, during one of my in-house workshops, I once again saw employees having issues with their working conditions. They wanted to talk to me after the workshop because they were desperate and didn't know what else to do. Since I've heard similar situations and descriptions of problems from so many employees lately, I want to take a closer look at the content of these conversations here. The person from last week's workshop started with, "Tell me, Christoph, do you also know these situations we're experiencing? You started a new company, really give it your all and try to get everything done correctly and quickly because you like the job and you get along well with your colleagues, getting to know them even better over time. The work is fun. You're highly motivated and even tell your friends and acquaintances how great the new job is. Our management should really consider themselves lucky, highly motivated and committed. That's what loyal employees are like, right? Of course. Hey, that all sounds great, and that's exactly how it should be. So, what's your problem? Well, then comes the day of reckoning. You make your first mistake, and that's when you really get to know your management. They're right there immediately, and you're surprised by the strong pushback and the blunt words about your mistake. You couldn't have avoided this mishap because you didn't know how to do it better. You really tried your best, but you didn't get the right information beforehand. And now you're getting this harsh criticism. There was never any recognition for everything that went well up to this point. But now, at the very first mistake, you're immediately criticized. What's that about? So we thought, okay, whatever, just brush it off and move on. You'll be fine. But from now on, you try to work differently, just to avoid making any mistakes. That's the highest motivation. What do you think about that, Christoph? Yeah, I've heard that a lot, even witnessed it firsthand. In situations like that, people end up focusing only on avoiding mistakes. They feel left alone. And to avoid any unpleasantness, in that situation, they see only one real option, to avoid making mistakes. But that wasn't all, was it? No. Sometime later, just when the first scolding was almost forgotten, the next mistake happened and once again, we really got chewed out. Wow, if this keeps up. At this point, we really only have one thing on our minds, what feels like the main focus. And that's making sure these mishaps don't keep happening to me, because it's really uncomfortable. Luckily, we get along with our coworkers at work. Joy and sorrow are shared. Hopefully the scales won't keep tipping towards sorrow for much longer. Because it's already been going on long enough. No one can put up with that forever. The days, the weeks, maybe even the months go by. Nothing changes, and you can already tell not everyone sticks it out as long as we do. So what are we supposed to do now, Christoph? What you're describing right now is, unfortunately, also the reality in many places. People are under so much pressure not to make mistakes. That's the only thing they're focused on. And what gets completely lost in all this, because no one helps them, they don't get any chance to develop, to grow, to actually get better in this way, instead of always just focusing on mistakes and trying to avoid them. That's a real vicious cycle. Let's draw a conclusion now. What was discussed or promised during the hiring process so far? Go ahead and list them. Was it maybe pay raises, opportunities for advancement? Maybe they said, we always have an open ear for you, and so on. Now, of course, I'm curious, how much of that has actually been kept so far? How long have you been here now, sticking it out under these conditions? And what about your loyalty to the company and those in charge? Yeah, that's pretty much gone now. Now we're only thinking about ourselves. What are our obligations? Because at the very least, we want to fulfill our job description and not get ourselves into trouble. That way, we can calmly look for alternatives and see if they suit us, either within the company or, if necessary, outside of it. Okay? Christoph, we're already thinking about what we're going to do in the future. Because why are we even putting ourselves through this? What are we even still loyal to? Nothing's happening anyway. We don't see any change. We're not going to put up with this any longer. Wow, 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 wow. That's pretty intense what I'm hearing from you about the working conditions. But by now, you've already reached the point where your focus is shifting away from your actual work and toward alternative jobs or companies. You could achieve so much more, but there are key factors that have brought you to where you are now. But what I'd really like to know is, where has the focus of your responsible leaders been up until now? On you, your colleagues, on those working within the leader's area of responsibility? Then the employee said, yes, exactly there, but with the focus on getting better by making fewer mistakes. That's where our leaders have been present so far and always just in time. Okay, but have you ever heard about what went well for you, where your strengths are, how you could get involved in the future by using your abilities better, or not? The employees just looked at me wide-eyed and didn't say a word. Okay, but what do you hear more often? Criticism and error correction, or recognition and skills development? Both are fine, but it's the dose that makes the poison. And they kept looking at me and said nothing. So now let me ask you, how long can employees put up with these conditions? Or rather, how long do employees want to work below their potential, only to go home frustrated more and more often after work? These days, you could find a new and even better job pretty quickly. But please, this isn't meant as criticism of management. It's more about raising awareness of your own focus and the right balance. Because most people in leadership positions act more unconsciously, driven by the daily grind and far too many organizational tasks. It's important for management to realize that they often take the workforce, the people, and their qualities, like loyalty, far too lightly. Hey, maybe it was unconscious until now, but that's playing with fire. Especially in times of mass resignations and skilled labor shortages, leadership needs to send a clear signal, one that the workforce can see and feel directly, and for the long term. Especially now in tough times, those responsible need to take the lead, yes, to take the reins into their own hands. The three examples I just mentioned, which annoy, wear down, and ultimately erode employees' loyalty over time, are actually perfect for kicking off a truly urgent and necessary change. You can immediately check and see whether these three important fundamentals are working properly in your organization. Leadership check number 1 to review. Is there a proper balance between criticism and recognition in practice? Leadership check number 2. Does employee communication focus more on avoiding mistakes or on fostering success? Leadership check number 3. Do employees have clear opportunities to grow and develop within your organization? If these 3 points are clearly defined and understandable, the first steps toward a solid foundation are in place, one that, when actively practiced, forms important pillars for successful collaboration. If that's not the case yet, it's really high time we have a call about it. Neither those in leadership positions nor employees should tolerate or endure such loyalty-killing conditions for even one more day. It's high time to actively initiate important changes now, before it's too late, because resignations happen faster than you think, and they can be proactively and humanely prevented. So go ahead and pick a link and a time slot below. Then we can have a no-obligation conversation about what exactly needs to be done so that working conditions change quickly and decisively. And I'm already looking forward to it. All right, see you next time. Take care. Bye.